Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, got a new machine for the shop here. Pretty happy to find this. So a little bit of the backstory on this. A couple of weeks ago, I was invited to go along with a friend of mine, Lance Baltzy, who's down in Florida. Lance had found through a common friend of ours, actually I knew about it as well, but there was a person up in northern Arkansas that had a bunch of machinery that was for sale. The gentleman that owned it had some health issues, has basically in assisted living now. The family was needing to raise some money, and they were selling a bunch of his machinery. Had a lot of really nice machines in excellent shape, and my buddy Lance really scored on some really nice machines for his machine shop at home shop. Picked up a couple of lathes, really nice surface grinder, bandsaw, a bunch of nice tooling. And I'm not going to go into all the details. We may make a trip down to Florida and do a little video. Adam Booth, actually, A-Bomb, actually did a little video tour of Lance's shop a while back. And Lance has pretty much upgraded most of his stuff in there. So we may try to do an updated shop tour at some point down at Lance's place. But anyway, he asked me if I'd go along, help out, and I was along for the road trip. Had a really good couple of days. Got to visit with my friend Peter out there, who actually took our scraping class a while back. And but anyway, when we went to pick up the equipment, I happened to see in there, and Peter had actually sent me some pictures of this before, but I didn't really pick up on it until I really saw it with my own eyes. But this sander was for sale, and had a very good price tag on it, and I decided that it needed to come home with us. So we put it on the trailer and we brought it back. I just got it picked up. Everything went down to Lance's place, so I just was down in the Gainesville, Florida area for work this past week and picked it up and brought it home. But real excited to have this machine in the shop. I've been needing a good belt sander for a while, and I was actually looking for something a little bit different, but when this thing came along, I'm like, this is even better than what I've been looking for. So let me kind of zoom you in here, show you the machine, tell you a little bit about it. So what we've got here is a Porter Cable 10-inch. This is a 10-inch wide belt sander. This is the model B3. Porter Cable, still around, still making tools today, but most people don't know it's a very old company. I think it was founded in the early 1900s, or 1900 something. I got some literature over here. We'll look at it in a minute and give you an exact date. But back in the late 1920s and through the early to mid 1930s, they were producing this model B3 along with a lot of different other models of sanders. And this one here was pretty much their big sander, their wide belt sander. Very well built machine. This is kind of a simple machine, but very well built machine. And I'm real proud to have it in the shop. So again, 10-inch wide belt. I think it's a 70.5 inches long, or was it 72.5? Again, I can confirm that, but I did order a new belt for it. This is just an 80 grit belt that I picked up from McMaster Car. Need to get a couple of different grits of these. Has a big 3 horsepower, 3-phase motor on it. I've done a little bit of checking with some of the Porter Cable experts out there. This motor is a Valley motor, and this was basically the motor that was original to this machine, or at least this style motor. So I'm assuming that that's the original motor. Very likely is. And this one is a 3 horsepower. Looking in the literature over there, they didn't even show a 3 horsepower option. They were showing like a 1 and 1.5 horsepower option, but a couple of examples with the 3 horsepower have showed up before, so I think this was an option at least at some time. Got the serial number tag over here. Type B3 serial number is 2554. I do not know exactly when this was built. I don't have a serial number reference that I've been able to find any way to look that up. My estimation is, I know they started making these in the late 1920s, made them up through the 1930s. I'm guessing it's somewhere in that early 1930s time frame is when this one was made. It could be a little bit later. I also know, again, from talking with some of the guys out there that, and I had one person when I posted some pictures on Instagram said, I've got one just like that, but it was made by a different company. And let me find my notes. So again, talking to some of the Porter Cable experts, they tell me that this model was later, I guess, sold or branded under the Engelberg name, and then even later than that, it was branded under the Sunstrand name. So they basically took this design and rebranded it. I don't know if they sold this design off these other companies or what, but the Porter Cable version, which this one is the earliest version of this sander. So it dates pretty old. Now, unfortunately, on the ride back home, the electrical cover here blew off somewhere between Arkansas and Georgia, so I'm going to have to find me a new cover to go on here, but let's fire her up. Random piece of scrap metal here. Some metal, no doubt about it. Of course, this sander could be used for either wood or metal, and I will probably use it for both. I'm going to probably put it over here in the metal side of the shop, though, because I need one. I've been needing a sander like this for a while. It has a table on here. This table is adjustable. There's a screw here on the side, and you can adjust it up, I think, 15 degrees and down 45 degrees, if I remember from reading in the literature. And, of course, I had it set perfectly square until I demonstrated how we can move it around. I have to reset that. But bearings seem to be in good shape. Yeah, it makes some noise, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't sound like it's got any really bad noises in it. So I think it's pretty much in good shape. It appears to be in good shape. And my plans for this is we're going to probably do a restoration on it. I'm going to repaint it. I will check the bearings out, and we may just go ahead and throw some new bearings in the motor and in the sander while we have it apart. We'll take a look at them. I don't know what kind of shape they're in, but all in all, it seems like it's in pretty good shape as it is. So we will probably repaint it and get it pretty. Looks like, just looking at the paint layers on here, of course this is a green color now. I see a gray underneath that, and I'm also seeing a lighter green color in here, so we may have to do a little bit of investigating to figure out what the original color was on this, or maybe just come up with a color we like and repaint it. That earliest green is almost a bluish green. It's I see some paint in some different places on here, so anyway, I'm gonna have to do some investigating on that, but yeah, we will. I think this should be a fairly simple restoration job because there's really not a lot mechanically that needs to be done to it. Not a lot of things that need to be changed on it. Just a quick look down here at the base, and it does have that Porter Cable name cast into the base down here. On the back it says Syracuse, New York, which is where it was built at. Just a quick look at the serial number plate on there. It looks like it's in good shape, so Tom Utley, you probably won't have to do a restoration on this one. We can or remake it. We will probably be able to salvage that one as it is. Type B3 is the model number, and 2554 again is the serial number. If anybody does know any serial number information on Porter Cable, I'd love to try to figure out exactly when this one was made. I'm just totally estimating right now. So I thought it was kind of ironic when I got it. I went on my website, VintageMachinery.org. I have a lot of old machinery catalogs and manuals and so forth, and I was looking for literature, and I did have a couple of pieces on there. And then just out of pure chance, a day or two later, I was upstairs looking for something in my stash of stuff that has not been scanned yet, and I happened to notice, hey, there's a Porter Cable catalog that I didn't even remember that I had. This one has a letter in here dated 1935 and has some nice literature. So I thought I'd show you some of the stuff that Porter Cable made. It has the stuff on that particular one in here too. So this is a Type D1 15-inch disc sander and grinder. And some of these are dated. So this one's dated 1934. Here's a Type D2, so a little bit different model than that other disc sander. Lapping machine, a model D5. That's pretty cool. That'd be right up Tom Lipton's alley there. And I don't see a date on that one. See, this one is an oscillating spindle sander. Pretty cool. Again, I don't see a date on that. A Type S1. Here's a type 04, also an oscillating bench sander. This is 1933 is when this was published. And here's my B3, and I don't see a date on this one either, and I don't see a date code. But let's just look at this. So you got adjusting screws here, adjustable table, the graduated angle guide, so that's the miter gauge I was talking about. I don't have that. Got the dust hoods. This says 1.5 horsepower motor and switch. It's a little bit different style motor, but I'm like I said, I've talked to some folks. That motor, I'm nearly certain is original to it, but it was a different option that I guess they offered at some time. Net weight on this, 375 pounds. I imagine with that larger motor, it's a little bit heavier than that, probably a little closer to 400 pounds. There's the belt, 10" by 70.5. Your grinding bed is 10.5 inches by 23 inches, so that's the size of this area that you can actually grind on. Table 9 by 16. Anyway, you can kind of see a little bit of information on there, and it is adjustable. You can see here you can actually lay that back down. You can take the guards off if you want to, if you want to like put a board on there and get it flat. So there's some, you got some options in how you use this. Of course, I have it currently set in the up and down mode. Anyway, and there's just some pictures of some people using it in various things. A couple other things in here. There's a B6. So this is a belt sander with a narrower belt. It's kind of cool. The B9, another version of the sander, not quite as wide of a belt. 6-inch belt sander. B12. There's a bandsaw they offered. That's 1934. Here's the old little portable handheld belt sander. A lot of people call this a locomotive sander because they kind of look like an old locomotive. And I've seen a few of these. These are pretty cool. A little publication on that. I don't have this particular one scanned yet. I got to get it scanned and uploaded on my site. A little skill saw. I guess not a skill saw, it's a quarter cable saw, but a Speedmatic saw. There you go. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. Look at this old floor sander. So for doing wooden floors, there's another floor sander, a router, hand router. Even had some metalworking stuff here. So here's a universal milling machine with adapters that they had. Here's a high-speed production lathe. I didn't even know Porter Cable made some of this stuff. This one is dated 1928. And here's another one on metal lathe that they offered. So anyway, some cool things. And let's see, I saw something in here a while ago about Porter Cable. This was 1933. Yeah, so builders of machine tools since 1906. So anyway, a little bit of history there on Porter Cable. But anyway, just thought I'd share that, a little bit of literature I have. And like I said, I'll try to get this scanned and up on my website pretty soon. Well, there you go, guys. New machine for the shop, Porter Cable B3 wide belt sander, 10 inches wide. I'm really excited to have this. I've actually been needing this. And I've got a job coming up that I was going to use my little El Cheapo, belt sander that I got back there in the back. And I've just been dreading doing that job. It's going to require some sanding. But with this thing here, man, we're going to make short work of it. So I'm excited about that. We're going to be doing that. Probably make a video on that coming up very soon because I need to do it to finish up a couple of things over on my Monarch lathe that I'm trying to get totally finished restored. But I am pumped about having the new toy here in the shop, and hopefully sometime this summer we should be able to get this thing restored. I don't think this will probably be a weekend restoration project for me. It'd be just clean it up, strip the paint off, repaint it, maybe replace a few bearings, and I think we'll be good to go on this one. So anyway, excited to have this. Great new addition to the shop. And with that, that's going to be a wrap. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Leave us some comments. Thumbs up are appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.